So, witnesses, state your name and occupation for the court. Oh my gosh! Ugh! I thought that was his tongue. Is that his lip? Oh, that's... Oh my god, what the heck? What the heck? Oh, that's gross. Okay. Ooh, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Story-Driven Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are hopping back into the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. In the last episode, we investigated our chips and fish loving Gregson's murder. He died the previous episode. Well, at least that's when we found out he died. Gina had to deliver that message. So yeah, the start of the episode, we got to investigate. We found a bunch of clues. There was a gun. Because we know that he was shot, and he was found in like a fetal position almost. So, I don't know if he just fell that way, or if he was already, that's kind of a weird, for somebody like Gregson, you know, to be found in a fetal position type thing. But anyway, we found a red-headed wig, which would imply somebody from the, you know, the red-headed league or whatever was involved. Most likely, it's probably tied to that. And yeah, I don't know, we found a candle, we found a bunch of clues. I don't have to go through all of them. I'll quickly look at them, I guess, when I jump back into the game, because we are about to jump into a new trial, and I'm so excited for this one. If you watch my other episodes, you know I really loved the last trial, but I have a feeling this one might be even better. Because even compared to the last trial, all the major players in this trial are people we've known since the last game even, not even just this game. You know, last trial our victim was Asman, and we didn't know him at all, really, because he was dead by the time we started the case, obviously, and then Harebrain we just met at the start of that chapter. Like, you know, like most defendants in these games, the people you just met often for the first time. So, but this time we got, obviously, Gregson's our victim. We have Van Zykes, but he is not the prosecutor this time around. He is the accused. And our prosecutor will be Kazuma. We found that also happened last episode. When we went to talk to a Strongheart, we found out that Kazuma is going to be the prosecutor for this case. I am super excited for that. You know, I love Van Zykes, and he's still going to be a major part of this trial, but it'll be cool, especially having just found out that Kazuma's alive recently, having him as our adversary, seeing how he kind of approaches this prosecutor gig, as it were. And then lastly, I almost forgot to mention, we had a little moment with Van Zykes, because through all this, he had not actually agreed to have us defend him. But we showed him that picture that we were given, the one of Van Zykes with Gregson and his brother. Van Zykes has a nice, you know, smile on his face, which we're not used to seeing, but it really suits him. He was much younger then, too, I guess, but that had to have been 10 years ago, right? And we were able to convince him. He called us by our name, which was like, whoa, that's a first. But yeah, I've loved Van Zykes' character growth throughout this game and the last game, and he's definitely a favorite character of mine. Him and Gina are up there. Like Iris, I like many of the characters, right? Especially the major characters. But anyway, I've gone on long enough. Let's hop into the trial. 2nd of November, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Deep breath, Ryunosuke. Breathe in, breathe out. You've done this many times. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. My thought exactly, Suzuto. Yes, I think so. Hey, buddy. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. What are you trying to say? A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however. I understand that no jury has been selected. Say what? A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like any other Ace Attorney trial. The trial of the professor 10 years ago. Oh. That's right, closed court. So obviously there was no jury involved. Good morning, my dear fellows. Am I interrupting something? Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree. It's back to normal. Well, I can rule you out as the suspect because we know that your fake hair wasn't a wig. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I don't care, Mr. Sholmes. I have enough on my plate. I completely forgot about your little hair problem. No offense. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Well, I'm glad you figured it out. Oh dear, how awful for you. So sad. Anyway, what were we talking about again? I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, it is 100% your fault. It didn't even work. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim and vigor, as they say. And are you? I see London celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow, compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases. The Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. Yeah, there's definitely, we've alluded to, they like know each other, so we'll see if we get more information on that. Whatever happened to that, sorry, I don't know why this just entered my mind, but what is that bloody collar we found, like, was that 2 cases ago? Like, what does that have to do with anything? We still don't know. Okay. Back to our scheduled, program. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there's at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Yep, that's me, over here. Mr. Sholmes, what a nice guy. After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind. My own, aha! What are you trying to say? Renosuke's nothing without me. I was only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. This is gonna be good. Oh, who's that? Sorry to barge in. Gina and Mikatova. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Aww. Father! Shouldn't you be at the symposium? No, I got better things to do. It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. Ah, shucks. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. No pressure or anything. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. My tree is rather fruitless at the moment. Odo! I thought I told you to stop calling me that. Well, whatever, Odo. Oh, yes, Gina? Why do you agree to this, eh? Why do you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. What? What killed the boss? Well, they're all liars. Scums and villains. I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that. I truly don't. I'm not bluffing this time. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? That's what we're gonna find out, hopefully. I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Yes, I will kill him myself. I mean, what? I didn't say that. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? It wasn't me, however. At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Aw, poor Gina. It's still hard to believe. Like, I'm sure during this trial we're gonna get a picture showing what his body looked like, at the time of the accident. It's gonna be sad to look at. Please, Odo. Yeah, whoever did this, for the boss. You got it. Oh, Gina. You got it, Gina. Oh, I feel this useless, but there's nothing I can do. And I know I said this about last trial, but I said last trial felt like it could be a finale. This definitely feels like one, even just the setup of it. I can't imagine what the fifth case will be like. So we've got to find who done this and make the wretch pay. You got it. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way to the courtroom at once, please. Okay. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zykes. Give him hell. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. Whose headband magically blows in the wind, even when there is no wind to speak of. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. So excited! It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. It's me! Aha! And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Yes. What an intro, Ryunosuke. 2nd of November, 9:20 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Sorry guys, I just remembered I have something to do, so this is going to be a slightly shorter episode today. Don't bother looking at the timestamp, it's a lie, I gotta go. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Only, we've filmed long enough, it's only 12 minutes in. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Vedek von Zykes. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, my lord, as ready as I'll ever be. Look at him, look at my boy. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama, you look so sexy. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... Yeah, I never pictured it happening like this. And as the prosecutor, no less. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. Yeah, I mean, just like the other trial, we have a bunch of seemingly, separate events. We got the Red-Headed League stuff I'm sure will come into play. The Mr. and Mrs. Vigil disappearance, or Mr. Vigil disappearance, and now this. And we already know, we saw the wig at the scene of the crime, so I'm sure that's tied to the Red-Headed League thing. So, there's gonna be a lot of seemingly disconnected events that are, I'm sure, all connected to each other. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they ought to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present. By Her Majesty's direct orders. Okay. This is going to be very nostalgic in that way, not having a... I mean, not that it changes the flow of the court that much. I guess it means there won't be a, obviously there won't be a summation examination thing going on. How will that work, my lord? I haven't played the other Ace Attorney games. The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? Just my closest friends and family. They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary. Oh my. This is a very unusual trial already. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. That is also true. Japanese represent. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma? Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asagi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. I said that just like Van Zykes. The incident took place on November 1st at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson. A name known very well indeed to this court. Oh yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I wonder... I kind of forgot his first name was Tobias. And Gina named her dog Toby. So I wonder if that's named after Gregson, in which case that's very cute but very sad. I don't know if there's any connection. I don't know if we know the origins of the dog's name, but... Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's, grimmest cases 10 years ago. I thought it said grimiest. The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. Ah, poor Gregson. I had mentioned a theory at one point about how, is Gregson somehow Mr. Vigil? But then I'm like, what am I talking about? We have a picture of Mr. Vigil. Unless Gregson's a master of disguise, that doesn't quite add up. Again, we don't even know if this is Gregson's room, but it seems likely it is. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. Okay. Point-blank range, died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Okay. We've definitely had this in other Ace Attorney games. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. In fact, didn't we have something like that in the last game? I think it might have been the final case of the last game. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. Okay? In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, counsel. Okay, the autopsy report. Inspector Gregson's autopsy report stating that death was instant, resulting from a bullet shot at close range. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. Okay, let's take a look at that, and that's not the right button. This is the right button. In more detail. Tobias Gregson, male, he's 45, he's British. Time of death, it does not say. Coroner, Maria Gori. Oh gosh, is that a pun? Gori? Now, are you going to be important? Or no? We'll see. We'll find out. Cause of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. Additional observation. The caliber of the gun used matches that of standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. Okay. So it is standard issue gun, and then everything else not Van Zykes. Cosmo just told us. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Cosmo-sama. I just remembered I gave Cosmo-sama, pretty much the Van Zykes voice, but I haven't had to use it because he's been dead, except in flashbacks. But you know what? Maybe he was Van Zykes' assistant for so long that it just every single one of his mannerisms rubbed off on him. Sure, let's go with that. For not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Yeah, good boy. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. Okay, and we know that, I'm assuming that hit the candle. There is a candelabra mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Crime scene floor plan. A plan of the small room in the building of flats on Fresno Street where the body of the victim, Inspector Gregson, was found. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? We'll see what he has to say about that, because I don't know if he has confirmation of that yet. Okay, so here's the board. That's Gregson, the candle, the front door. This is, I guess, the table that had the picture on it, right? Of Miss Vigil, Evie. That's really all that's in here. Okay. No, my lord. Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. Okay, the inspector and the accused was holding the revolver. I don't know why. The intending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel. Naturally, the accused himself. Ooh, already. Lord Van Zykes. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Okay, then. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. Oh gosh, this is gonna get confusing. We have the same voice, I just realized. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Vadok Van Zykes, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zykes, that you heard Vikas Asagi's opening precis, whatever? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime. Bullcrap. And that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. I'll try and give him maybe a slightly higher, not as low voice as Van Zykes, I guess. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zykes, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. I totally expected this to happen. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Screw you, Judge. Your formal testimony, then, witness? Here we go, first testimony of the case. What I had for lunch. No, the facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. You were investigating him? What for? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot, and I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. Like a little girl. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. appeared before you. Does he mean that that's like the moment he noticed the body was there, or does he literally mean like he saw the gun and everything was picked up and like the body, like, was there a window nearby? Someone threw it through the window or something? That testimony was the whole truth. It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants? And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I'm not even sure why I have Kazuma with a British accent. He's Japanese, but whatever. I thought you were my mute apprentice, so be quiet. Yet it turns out you have a way with words. Prosecutor Asagi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word. It's laughable. What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. Still dreamy, though. Very well, then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Roger Dodger. Let's see how this goes. Bring it on. Ooh, I like Asaki's picture now. The facts of the incident. So there's a couple things I definitely want to press on. Like, why was he investigating Gregson? Let's start with this. You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I wanted to see where he bought his fish and chips from. They are delicious. I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance. Okay. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. Okay. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zykes? I must have forgotten. I was aware of the possible consequences. Okay, so this is something that he was willing to break the law for. So in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet, you refused to tell the court why. More or less. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? He's a rogue. He does what he wants. That's right, he said it was dark and he saw no one. I want to press him on that too. Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. Lights were off, okay. But at 5 p.m. the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside, but I believe the windows were boarded up, right? The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Yeah, very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. Fair enough. I wouldn't have noticed that the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo, yeah, I was in the picture. Why, that was drawn of all things. There's a small desk in the room, just here. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. Yeah, so that is the table. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. We never actually reached the desk. Interesting. So he was in the room, he heard the gunshot, but he has no idea where it came from? I mean, it was dark still at this point, so I guess... Yeah, I don't know. Let me just take a quick look. Was there anything... I just want to see if there's anything that jumps out at me that I can instantly present evidence to.
Hold it!
Let's just keep pressing. So, who fired the gun? If I knew, do you think I would tell you? Well, sorry, I wouldn't tell you. I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then could it be... that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I can smell the gunpowder. This is going from bad to worse. Is it possible that Ron Weasley apparated into the room, shot him, for whatever reason, his hair fell off, then he apparated out? Okay, I'm running with that theory. That's my new theory for this case. Totally serious. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was careless on my part. Yeah, that was stupid. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In fact, I think Edgeworth did that in a case in one of the earlier games. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that. So I think we established that. So I think that might have been Gregson's gun that was found at the scene, but it wasn't the gun he was shot with. He must have just dropped it. Ugh, it's going nowhere.
Hold it!
And you heard a man scream. A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? That's right, they talked about him earlier. A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A mat seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot, and without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. I was almost another victim. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. Allegedly. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. Okay, last thing.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. Could the first witness have tossed his body in the room or something? Like maybe he acted like he found it, but he just like... He came in with the body and just threw it on the ground and pretended he witnessed it? I see. I don't know if that makes any sense. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. Oh, I have no idea.
Objection.
Oh! What do you got, Kazuma? Surely the court has heard enough. Okay, so it's one of those instances where he's got to press him on everything and then it moves forward. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barak von Zykes, is lying on multiple fronts. Oh, I want to hear this. What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel! The defendant is lying, you say? Oh, that's music. Ah, I love it. In this testimony just now, he claimed that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room is dark. That's correct. What of it? No, that's impossible. That's proven by the candelabrum. How did that prove anything? Oh, is he going to say that it was lit at the time? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it had blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yeah, I noticed that when we were investigating. So they were, I guess he's saying that at least those two were lit? Maybe? Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We would reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! Oh dear. That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles could still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. Uh-oh. And now to the next lie. Oh, he's just tossing them at us. There's more? I'm feeling sick. The accused also claimed never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom with police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. How does that tie to, Van Zykes? It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged, however. They included a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago, the Professor case. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there's a common thread linking all the documents on that board. Indeed! What is this common thread, counsel? They all relate to the cases prosecuted in court by Barak von Zykes. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Oh dear me. Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. This man here. Ah! Oh no! And another lie! Does he have more? In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations. Ooh, it's getting juicy. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, counsel! Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper when he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout. He was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine by the Reaper's hand. What? What? Order, order, order! Could Gregson be the Reaper? Could we just have it switched? Because we've already said that this might have been Gregson's hideout. I mean, if this is indeed the Reaper's hideout, which it seems likely that it is, can we just have it switched? Or maybe this is Gregson's hideout. You know, Van Zykes was investigating him. He said he can't tell us why. I feel like he'd say something, though, if he thought that he was the Reaper. I don't know. Very well, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Vanek Von Zykes is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Professor Askey's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo's done a brilliant job as ever. Way to go, buddy. Renosi just gives him a thumbs up from across the court. Good job. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. He just pulled out the entire notice board from behind his desk. Here you go. A freestanding notice board completely covered in notes and articles relating to victims of the Reaper of the Bailey. And now the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Oh, that was fast. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. Let me take a look at the notice board, though. I'm just looking to see. Nothing stands out. It just seems like kind of random pieces of paper. We'll check the back, of course. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. And do you remember there was a red hairpiece at the scene too? Yes, I do. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then? I mean, it was right next to his body. That'd be funny if he was trying to get into that. Anything on the back? Ooh, what is that? A bloody handprint? Oh, could the guy have been hiding behind the board? The guy who actually shot? I don't know why his hand would be bloody, though. If he was standing that far away. Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. It's also angled weird. It's angled down. Like like his fingers are angled down. The whole hand is upside down, I guess you could say. If somebody were just standing upright and leaning against it. Yeah, I don't know. This looks like a handprint. Unless there was something... I could see maybe if there was something taped to the back of the board. Maybe the gun was, and somebody reached over the board to grab it. That might make sense. And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear. How disturbing. A freestanding notice board covered in whole notes and articles related to victims of the Reaper. There's a bloody handprint on the back side. Okay, I think that's probably it. I knew there had to be something on the back side of this. That's why I make sure to inspect every piece of evidence thoroughly. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running to the room. Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Bye-bye. Certainly, my lord. Okay, that was Van Zykes' contribution, for now. Okay, we got Little Red Riding Hood. Tom Sawyer. Haven't we seen that guy before? So, witnesses, state your name and occupation for the court. Oh my gosh! Ugh! I thought that was his tongue. Is that his lip? Oh, that's... Oh my god, what the heck? What the heck? Oh, that's gross. Okay. Now, what? Now the question is what voices to give you. Look at this. Look at these goofballs. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. Us. We're just free and easy. Sell what we like, live where we want to live. Give them all a vacant stare as they will walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them. But what does this sign say? Ah, would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? What's wrong with your lip, dude? Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits by passers-by, you know? Jaunty little tit... Wait. Tit... Is that what he said? Titbits? I don't want to know. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right off your ginnel, it is. 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less. Now is not the time. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. Pay the man, counsel, now! Or I will execute you on the spot. Alright, 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now get your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street have just had twins. Oh, that was totally worth it. Thank you, everybody. That's it. What? Is that it? Yeah. Thanks for the money. Don't stop doing that. No, it's not it. It's gossip, innit? It wants to spread, but that fits up to you in your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. No, I'm good. I am curious, yes. About what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. You know what? I did not notice that. I was too busy looking at his face. Interesting. What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? I like that expression. Funny, innit? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. Oh, almost set my bum on fire. 6 pence a pop. What do you say? Oh, God. You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell? Oh, yeah. The second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100... Did you just kiss them? They could blow up the school. Aha! It's only happened once or twice. Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. What do you say then, eh? Want a pot with 6 pence for a pop? I'm good. Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom. Isn't that wonderful? Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right. Pay the woman, counsel. Blow up the courtroom, I dare you. Alright. I'll buy one. What is this? What's happening right now? Lovely stuff, right? Right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special. Only 600 pence. Okay, I'm not buying that. Not paying for that. 600? I'm good. It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the old Bailey, either. Okay, and that's evidence, apparently. Venus Firecracker. The Venus Special Firecracker, consisting of 100 smaller fireworks at 6 pence each. What sort of a bang could it make? I'll use it to make a quick getaway if I need to. And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm just a homeless man. What does it say? I can't see what it says. Something /00? Oh, 100? Does that say like 100 pounds, I guess? I must think of me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. The thinker. That's a throwback to the first game, innit? Because I stand there on the street while watching the world go on about me. They call me the observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich, and you know it. He whips around and hits the old man with his lip. Oh, damn it! So you don't actually sell anything? Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do. And think what it means. Hot? Okay, I can't read that. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it. Did it say actual hobo? Pity. No more purchases today, please. Well, we have quite a cost here. It seems. I didn't actually look at the fireworks yet. They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. Let's take a look at those. I am so preoccupied by everything going on right now. I don't know what's happening. Okay, got the fuse at the bottom. I assume that's what that is. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks. Let's light it, Susanoo. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus Special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But... She said it could blow up the courtroom. It's worth the risk. Bang! Oh, we actually tried it? What? Alright. That was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. Why did you have to do that right next to my head? It sounded almost exactly like... Okay. It goes off like a gunshot. Oh. Is that what we heard? Fascinating. Fascinating indeed. Okay, I think that's it. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see. Unless they heard the gunshot, I suppose? Unless it was those fireworks going off. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime. Well, I'd be begging, I thought. Just between us. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, for playing with our eyes, is any of it real? What? Thank you for that bit of wisdom, you wise hobo. Very well, everyone shut up. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. Witness testimony, the witness's account. We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went to the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Course I couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran to the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. Are you the one who screamed? I was scared off to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper. You did it! I don't know. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baddock von Zykes. That sucks. I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folk love stories like this. I've made myself a tidy sum already. But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. Are you an idiot? All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied, silly boy. Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone. Imagine there is an actual Hugh Boone. The testimony the court has heard would appear to have little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. No! Let me speak. Thank you for your candor, my lord. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses. Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony. Somehow. Do this. Cross-examination. Come on, Kazuma. Let's see if anything stands out. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. Less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside, that we all heard a big bang. Okay, Gotham couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. Ran to the room and there he was, the Reaper gun in hand. Okay. Scared half to death of me, so I ran off to find a copper. We can start with this because you're talking about the Big Bang.
Hold it!
It all started with a big bang bang! By which presumably you mean the gunshot? I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? Oh, almost lit me bum again. But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like that. Like this, doesn't it? Can you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building? That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang it went. Just like that. Well, it's the Reaper, innit? It's what the French call a fire on comply. Or something like that. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, innit? I think we get the message. Fat lip. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime. Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive. Great. Just what we need. And at that point you ran inside, is that correct? What was the first thing again? Let's come back to that. Circle back to that. Okay.
Hold it!
What do you have to say about this? So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene? Is that right? That I was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did, and yelled out, "What's going off here?" Who Van Dyke claims all he heard was a man scream, though. Was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? Uh-oh. And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. First thing you noticed? I see. Even though Lord Van Dyke claims not to have seen any such light on the wall, nothing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Bedek von Zykes. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself. And was there anyone else at the room at the time? In the room? No, of course not. Not at first. Quick turn to the head. Get my good side, but then this old stiff came waddling along behind me. Of course, only him, mind. I can't handle stairs so well, as you can imagine, especially on the way up. And you couldn't have just failed to see someone? I was a bit dingy in there, I grant you. But there were the candles on the wall and the lamp on the table. Candles on the wall and the lamp on the table, yeah. So some of the things, make sense, but a lot of what he's saying completely contradicts what Van Dyke's told us. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to sit here and, watch him flick his lip. There was no way anyone could have been hiding. You mock my eyes. Oh, there's no way anyone could have been hiding, you say? Okay, I was hoping that would lead to a new testimony. Okay, you ran off to find a copper.
Hold it!
So you didn't run into the room with your friends? Nah. I'm not that sort of girl. Sorry? I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there. Ah, right. I see. Old Lippy, old Lippy. And the witch ran in there and then I heard sort of old lady scream. Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my honor on it. I wondered what on earth was going on. which is doing anywhere to find a policeman. And I ran to a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, eh? Sure. That's between us. That copper's eye nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I've never felt more comfortable in all my life. And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe. So the copper just happened to be there. Considering the catalogue of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. Okay. If I can't find any holes in this testimony, I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Naruhodo. The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning. Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there? Still, if Lord Van Zykes really is innocent, then I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up. You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you? I had said that. If I had to guess, well, it's hard to say. I was saying it could be old Lippy, but I mean, the girl could have set off the firecrackers to make it sound like a gunshot. I don't know. What I do know is that there's more to this case that is yet to be brought to light. Okay.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zykes? I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went and lost, that's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson? Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. Okay, so that would have been Gregson, so he was 15 minutes before. The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Doesn't seem likely that I've forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? Oh. Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. Fascinating. That fiery red moth still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is? Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? He was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well. I think there was a trunk there, right? But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. Not necessarily. No, I hate to break it to you. But the witnesses are correct. Yes, we found the wig too. What? Oh, geez. Okay, there's the picture. Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Aw, poor Gregson. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, alright. And a red hairpiece. Now, he was either wearing that, maybe... I'm trying to think. Well, the witnesses are all saying that they saw him walk in with the red hair. I was gonna say, could the killer put that on him? Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. He didn't need it. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. Yeah. A little weird, but... The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. A photograph in front of the victim, Inspector Gregson. His body appears to be tightly curled up, and there's a red hairpiece on his head. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. That's a contradiction. So it just disappeared? What? You expect us to have been watching the building every second, do ya? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. Okay. Take a look at this picture. Oh, okay, it's zoomed out now. I don't know why I'm looking at his crotch. I don't know. Nothing strikes me out of the ordinary. Was there blood on the wig? we found it? Yeah, I don't know. But now that we found this picture, will that have anything to do with... Do we have to present this? Well, I think we still have one more point to press. Okay, I did that already. I don't think I pressed this. So, we Gossip ran to see what had happened. Did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see? All the signs are that I can't move very well. You were way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but I could use a sandwich. Is it possible that you and I have met before? I believe so. Like I said, I think he was one of the jurors. I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I signed, therefore I am. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then? Ah, that's right. I think he was a juror too, but that's right. He was the driver. That was the third case of the last game. I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. You're bringing up bad memories. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widow's arms is just there. Oh dear. You've made him hide behind a sign. Life is full of surprises. Okay. Now's the part where I gotta figure crap out. Wait, hang on, go back. So we got this new picture. Does that contradict anything? Okay, so the whole thing, everything from the moment they went in the building. Okay, we heard a big bang. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. Ran to room, and there he was, the Reaper. Oh, gun in hand. There we go. Gun in hand. Are you sure about that? Because I believe you're a lying sack of crap. I mean, I have this evidence right here that shows he had no such gun in his hand. It's got to be that. Lies.
Objection.
Wait, what? What? The witness's last statement is clearly contradictory when you consider this piece of evidence here. Are you kidding me? Do I have to press him on that now? You say it's undeniable, counsel, but I fail to see any contradiction here at all. Let me try pressing him. I think perhaps that itself is the contradiction. Indeed. Okay, that's gotta be it. There's no way. Time for a rethink. That's totally it. I mean, it's definitely a contradiction. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. The Reaper gun in hand standing over the dead body. I'm an idiot. I don't know, why would I think Gregson had the weapon? Ugh. That was just me being a dum-dum. Okay, back to square one now. Did I ever examine this? I don't think I did. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you want to take it off again, don't you think? Is that it? Okay. Okay, I think that's it. So there's nothing that important to examine. I mean, I pressed everything and nothing's standing out. Oh, wait. I don't know if this helps us yet, though, but was there... Oh, you can't really see it in this picture, can you? I was gonna say, I was wondering if we'd be able to see the scorch marks, but... It doesn't even look like you can really clearly see the entry wound in this picture. But I don't think that would have helped me anyway right now. I mean, there's this. I can't believe I'm a little stuck already. It's like the second testimony. I always get thrown off when we, by pressing witnesses, we get a piece of evidence. Because then I feel like I have to use this piece of evidence, but it's not always the case. I feel like just pressing some of these again and seeing if anything has changed. I'm gonna try just pressing some points again, see if there's something I missed. See if maybe there's some new dialogue or something now that I found the picture. Oh. Okay. Did this happen before? Maybe I needed the picture first? Well, this is what I missed.
Excuse me.
Squeeze me. Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? Maybe. There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just two slices with no middle. That's why they call you Mr. Sandwich. So I don't know what you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remembered something. Just a hunch. Having heard Mr. Gossip's latest statement, I mean. What I think is, we're all nothings really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. Is that a threat? When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside. That's it. Oh, you rotten beggar! I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Aha. Mr. Gossip, is this true? He's trying to make himself sound more heroic than he was. The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand on a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck. What? A pool of blood? But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold hard stare. And don't you forget it. Let's just go back a little. Do you see you got blood on your hand? I did, I? Ah, happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared. So I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we? That's important. No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once. What are you on about? I will allow it. I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor. Okay. I don't know if I should press him. I'm just gonna save real quick. You know what? I'm gonna press real quick, just to be safe. You wiped your hand on the floor? Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I'd done it. Humph, no tar. And you didn't think that might be a problem? No, of course not. Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us. I like that. Is something wrong, Counsel? No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all. Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor. The blood. I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. Now, I feel like there's two ways we could go about this. I feel like it makes sense to present the board because it had the bloody handprint on the back. But we could also present the picture, which shows that there's no bloody handprint, but you could have left the bloody handprint off screen, right? So let's try the board. Because we found the handprint, so obviously he didn't wipe it off, or at least he didn't wipe it off well.
Objection.
Objection! So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter? I'm trying to think, like, did that, when I had to press the old man, or pursue his reaction, Did I just miss that the first time, or did that only appear after I found the picture? I don't know. I'll have to when I go back and edit, I'll have to see if I just missed it.
Objection.
It's usually pretty obvious. The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. Yeah, give him an old dust slam. Objection. If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asagi. Shut your trap. Certainly there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? Should have looked more carefully is what I'm trying to say. There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Snap. Oh, yes indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Hey, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere. Well, he's not denying it.
Objection.
I guess I could also explain, if you want to wipe it off on something, he might, like I said, he might have reached over the front of the notice board to wipe it off on the back. It's a weird place to do it, though. The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. You just said yourself that there was no handprint. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection.
Really? You really think that? Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. Oh, interesting. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. Yes, nowhere near there. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. Yeah, that's right. I fell over when I came across the body. So it's basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defendant's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. What of it? Oh, I guess Renosuke's got a plan. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel? I haven't. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... I don't think it's false testimony. I don't think... There's a chance they're both... I mean, he did kind of lie about screaming and the bloodstain, so he has lied to us already, but... I don't know. I don't think there's another handprint. I'm gonna go with the board moving. Let's go with the board moving. I mean, yeah, let's go with the board moving. That's all I got. That makes the most sense. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is, okay. Yeah, so I guess that makes sense, yeah. If the witness has put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards. What? What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor, as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?